Hello everyone, so today we are going to learn about glycogen storage disorders, and as we all know, these are the enzyme deficiency disorders due to which glycogen and its products get stored in the cells. So we will be understanding and memorizing it through the Picmonics and mnemonics. So let's first see the table. As you can see that there are 6 types of glycogen storage disorders, and each type has been given a name and the enzyme deficiency associated with it. So we will try to remember this particular table. So let's first see which are the diseases in this table. Type 1 is von Gierke's disease. The enzyme deficient is glucose 6 phosphatase. Type 2 is Pompe's disease. The enzyme deficient is acid maltase. Then third one is Cori's disease. The enzyme deficient is debranching enzyme. Fourth is Andersen's. The enzyme deficient is branching enzyme. Fifth one is McArdle's disease. The enzyme deficient is methyl phosphorylase. Sixth is Hirsch's disease. The enzyme deficient is liver phosphorylase. There are two more, that is 7 and 8. 7 is also known as Cori's disease, and 8 one does not have a name, but we have to know the enzyme deficient in those. So with the Picmonics and mnemonics, we will be learning the enzyme deficient in them also. So now let's take our discussion further. So the first one was von Gierke's disease. So here, as we can see, this is a man who is a foreigner, and on being asked how many heart is present in a human, he replies one. So number 1, he wanted to say 1. As we all know that we have only one heart, so he also wanted to say 1, but as he has an accent of foreigner, so he said von. So number 1 is von Gierke's disease. So now for the enzyme deficient in it, we can understand it like, as we all know that the one enzyme which is there in the liver but which is not present in the muscle is your glucose 6 phosphatase, and we all know that this is the very important enzyme because the sole purpose of storing glycogen is so that we can, in the stress situations, we can liberate glucose out of the cells into the blood so that it can be utilized by the brain. So if this particular enzyme glucose 6 phosphatase is not present in the cells, then the glycogen cannot be liberated outside the cells in the form of glucose. So this is one of the very important enzyme, not only in the cases of your glycogen metabolism, but it is also very important enzyme of gluconeogenesis. So since it is a very important enzyme, so we will be placing it in the number 1 position. So the enzyme deficient in von Gierke's disease will be glucose 6 phosphatase. I hope that's easy to memorize now. Now let's move forward. Now the second disease which we have is Pompe's disease, and here as we all can see that these are the two girls with two girls, number 1 and number 2, and these girls have pom-pom in their hand, which are also 2 in number. So as you can see that these girls are very sexy. So the men over here, they are calling them by the names like Mal. So when they are calling them with the name Mal, these girls are not liking it. So these boys are teasing them by calling these girls Mal, but since these girls do not like it, so they are going to react in the acidic manner. So the enzyme deficient here will be acid maltase, as they are calling the name by Mal and they are teasing by calling them, and these girls are going to react as acid, and the disease which is there is Pompe's disease by this pom-pom. I hope it's clear. Now let's move ahead. So now let's see the next one. This is Cori's disease. Now how to remember this? Now see, the third letter of the alphabet is your letter C, and we are learning about the third disease of the glycogen storage disorder. So it is going to be Cori's disease with the letter C, and since after C we have D, so the enzyme deficient will be debranching enzyme. I hope that's very clear. So now let's move to the fourth disease, and that is your Andersen disease. And here we can see in the Picmonic that there is a man who is introducing his son by calling him Ender. His name is Ender and he is my son and he is 4 years old. So with the 4 years we can understand it that this particular disease, which is Andersen disease, is type 4 glycogen storage disorder. And here Andersen, as the name starts with the A, so after A comes B, so the enzyme which is deficient in Andersen's is branching enzyme. I hope that's easy to remember, but if you find it difficult to remember, you can also remember it by this way, that the enzyme which was deficient in Cori's was your debranching enzyme. So now branching enzyme is left, so in the next disease which comes after Cori will be your branching enzyme. So here it is branching enzyme which is deficient in the fourth disease, and before B comes A, so it will be Andersen's disease. You can remember either way, it's your wish. Now let's move forward. Now here we have a Picmonic which says that this particular epic tale is very famous, and we all know about it, that Mahabharata was a very famous epic tale in which a war was there between the Pandavas and Kauravas. And as we all know that Pandavas were only 5 in number, so they were 5 in number. So this is the fifth disease we are talking about, and Kauravas were 100 in number. So despite of being 5 in numbers, the Pandavas won the match. As we all know, they won the war. So they won it with their muscle power. So with this we can remember it, that they won it with their muscle power. So the enzyme which is deficient here will be muscle phosphorylase, and since the enzyme name is with M, so the disease will also start with M, that is McArdle's disease. I hope it's easy to remember now. And the mnemonic can also be remembered in Hindi as कौरवों ने पांडवों को मसल कर रख दिया. So it will be muscle phosphorylase, and since Pandavas were 5 in number, so it is fifth disease, and muscle phosphorylase is with letter M, so the disease name will also be McArdle's disease. I hope it's easy to remember. Now let's move forward. Now for the sixth disease, imagine a situation, as we all know that our MBBS course is of 5.5 years, so let's make it 6 years. After getting the results and all, it becomes of 6 years. So these are the MBBS students here, and as we all know that generally we have seen a lots of one-sided relationship in our colleges. So here this boy is secretly in love with this particular girl. Now he plans to propose this girl, and this girl rejects. So he comes to his friends. With sad mood, but to cheer him up, his friends say, leave her, and it's her loss only. She has lost something, you did not lose anything. So they said, leave her. So it is liver phosphorylase. The enzyme which is deficient here is liver phosphorylase, and it is her disease, not yours. I hope it's very clear. Now let's move forward. Now for the 7th and 8th, which we said there are 2 more diseases in the glycogen disorders. So for these we have 7 is like 5, number 5 disease, and 8th one is like number 6. So odd is for odd and even is for even. Now you tell me that which was the enzyme which was deficient in number 5. So we all know that Pandavas were 5 in number. So पांडवों ने कौरवों को मसल कर रख दिया था. They won with their muscle power. So the enzyme deficient there was muscle phosphorylase. So it has to do something with 7th, also has to do something with the muscle, and the 6th, in the 6th it was leave her. It's her disease only. So it was liver phosphorylase. Now let's see what are the enzymes which are deficient in your number 7 and number 8. So it is muscle phosphofructokinase and liver phosphofructokinase. I hope it's easy to remember now. And 7.1 has a name, that is Cori's disease, whereas 8 does not have a name. I hope it's very clear. Now since we read about 8 diseases, among these at least 1 or 2 will be fatal. So here the diseases which are fatal, So since we read about 8 diseases, so among these at least 2 या 4 तो fatal होंगे ना. So it is number 2 and 4 are fatal in early life if not treated. I hope it's very clear. Thank you.